Look at the rest of October and going on into November in today's video. I've got some updates from the longer range models taking us through October and in terms of CFS into November, so have a look at that in a moment. Before I get on, let's talk about the advertising. There should be green keyword ads on my page at gazworthbiz.com, and you right cursor over green keywords, basically ads, when you click free word to go to the advertising website. You support gazworthbiz.com by doing that. So let's start off with the JMA model, the update from the long range model of Japan. These are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods over a month. We're starting off with the first weekly period, taking us from the 3rd to the 10th of October. It's a typical 500 millibar height anomaly in that where we've got to blue, that's below average heights, which extrapolates to below average temperature, which extrapolates to below average pressure, low pressure, where we've got yellow and orange and maybe even red. That's where we've got above average temperature at 500 millibars, 80,000 feet, which extrapolates to high pressure. Now, we're upside down on this chart, but the British Isles is just here, and that's showing that we've got a very, very large and intense anomalous area of above average heights extending from the Atlantic into Europe for the coming week. So high pressure, very dominant out to the Atlantic, going through into central and northeastern parts of Europe as well. Big area of high pressure coming up for the first week of October. That looks pretty good. I think they are going to have a lot of anticyclonic influences over the coming week. Now, the second weekly period from the JMA model will be taking us from the 10th to the 17th of October. And look at this, there's no real change to the setup. The high pressure around British Isles remaining very dominant area of above average heights. We perhaps lower the heights ever so slightly towards the Atlantic, so maybe we've got weather systems trying to come in from the west a little bit through this second weekly period, but really it's high pressure all the way going out through British Isles into many parts of Europe. Yeah, that's a big anomalous area of above average heights dominating up to the middle of October. And as we go through to the next 2-week period, this is a 2-weekly period taking us from the 17th to the 31st of October. So this is taking us right up to the end of the month. Well, then it's shown that we lose the heights and we go back to nearer normal heights. That could be signs that low pressure is coming in a little bit more off the Atlantic. But really, I think what happens with this model is that once it gets through to the 2-weekly period, the extended range, it tends to sort of lose the signal a little bit. But we've got this area of below average height extending down through into eastern, southeastern parts of Europe, and on into western and central parts of Russia. That's where we've got a trough of low pressure, very cold air digging down there. So you would assume there's probably still some sort of ridge going on actually through the west of Europe, to be honest. So I'm dubious about that. I would suspect once you get through that 4 or 2 week periods, if we keep this trough of low pressure away to the east and into western and central parts of Russia, then we're likely to still have a ridge around the British Isles, even going up to the latter stages of October. But certainly for the coming couple of weeks, high pressure all the way by the look of the JMA model. Now have a look at the CFS model. This is the city forecast for Birmingham from the website weatherweb.net. You can find a link to that on my links page. Also, we're going to have some pretty warm weather coming up over the next few days. This is the 6th of October just here. And yeah, we keep the temperatures above average up to around the 11th or 12th. Then we get a little bit of a drop off just briefly, and then things pick up a little bit again. And then as we go through to around the 16th, 17th, showing a bit of a drop off in the temperatures again, coming in desperately cold, but it does become cooler around the middle of the month. And the CFS been showing this up quite consistently over the last few updates. Then it picks up a little bit again as we go to around the 20th, 21st, and then we get to around the 25th of October, and that's when it's seeing a real slide down in towards very autumnal conditions for the end of October, and that takes us through then into the start of November. And actually November looks like developing into quite a coldish sort of month to be honest. We do get a bit of a pickup in November temperatures. That's the 1st of November just there. We do get a little bit of a pickup in the November temperatures through the first week, but really it's quite a cold month being signalled here, and it gets colder as we go through to the middle of the month. Temperatures well down into single figures there, with a risk of significant nighttime frost. But it looks as though this change happens probably around the 25th, 26th of October, and the CFS model has been signalling that sort of date for quite a while, so keep it in your diary. Around the 24th, 25th, 26th, big drop in temperature occurs and takes us through into November. But before that, we do see a little bit up and down in terms of the temperatures, but really I think we're keeping the temperatures more on the upside than the downside, to be honest. Although around the middle of the month, there are some chillier nights being signalled there. And that could just be that we bring cooler air down into the high pressure. As the high pressure goes on through October, the air masses could change. We should start to dig in some cooler air into that high pressure. But the real change looks like it's going to be final week of October. Have a look at the precipitation forecast to see how they work out from the CFS model, because it's very interesting to extrapolate to where the high pressure and low pressure is for the coming week, ending the 10th of October. It's showing that most of the rain is being kept up to the northwest of the British Isles, to be honest. Many places will be dry, not completely dry, perhaps one or two showers coming through at times, but really below average rainfall for the coming week. The week going up to the 17th of October also showing that we've got high pressure very much dominating the weather, the low pressure with the blue colours here. That's above average rainfall, but that's where the low pressure is, well to the south and to the north of the country. And basically it's high pressure sitting around the country and going on into Europe and through the Atlantic as well. And we know that's pretty good. That's what the JMA model was showing in essence. Lots of high pressure influences through to the middle of October. Then the next weekly period, going up to the 24th of October, could turn a little bit more unsettled, although it's still basically quite dry in the south, but we're bringing perhaps more weather systems up to the north and the west of the country. And then through to the 31st of October, remember this is when the CFS model is seeing that slide down in temperatures, the week from the 24th to the 31st, and it's showing the high pressure going out to the west of the country. And what's going on is that we're bringing down much cooler air now from a north or northwesterly direction, so the temperatures do slide off quite significantly through that final week of October. The reason that the high pressure is going out west. And then going through to the first week of November, through to the 7th of November, again the heights are basically going to be in the Atlantic with this. We've got some sort of a trough of low pressure probably sitting to the east and to the northeast, and again the air mass with that will probably be basically north or northwesterly, so quite cool weather, or perhaps even cold weather with some frost going through to the first week of November. And then finally, as far as we're going to go, 6 weeks away, this takes us up to the weekend of the 14th of November. The low pressure comes back a lot. It turns much wetter through that week, but we'll probably see the temperatures lifting with westerly winds then re-establishing, but could be quite a lot of rain with that. Just have a look at the shorter range models very quickly before I go, and quite interesting from the GFS this morning. It's showing the high pressure on the 10th of October, Thursday the 10th, going out to the west and the northwest of the country. There it is, going up towards Iceland. We're bringing a trough of low pressure down into Scandinavia, and we are bringing cooler air, well, much colder air down into Scandinavia. We're just on the edge of it, and of course that's what I was talking about with the CFS model, that we may start bringing some cooler air into this high pressure as we go through that second week of the month. There's the upper air temperatures, just showing that yeah, we do bring colder air down into Scandinavia and just threatening it onto the eastern and northern side of the country. Not all models agree with that though. The ECM WF wants to keep high pressure centred right over the top of the country on Thursday the 10th and into Friday the 11th as well. Do bring colder air down in Scandinavia, but we keep it there. We don't bring it into the area of high pressure. The UK Met Office model also wants to bring colder air down later next week into that area of high pressure. So that's what we're going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks. I think the high pressure is going to go on. It certainly looks like that with the JMA and with the CFS model, the high pressure very much dominating through to the middle of the month. But what we've got to be looking out for is bringing colder or cooler air, really, cooler air masses into the high pressure at times. And as we go on through October, that gets more probable, more likely, of course, particularly if we set up that trough over Scandinavia, we could start to dig cooler air down. But I think the real change to much colder conditions, or much cooler autumnal, proper autumnal conditions, is going to occur through the last week of October. That's been signalled very regularly by the CFS model about drop-off in temperatures any time from around the 24th through to, say, the 26th. And it looks so November could start on quite a coldy sort of note. It could be quite a cool month, November. So very interested to see how these, how all this works out. Very experimental, these longer range models, so don't take them too seriously. And certainly for the coming couple of weeks anyway, it's going to be very dry with high pressure dominating. That's it for now, dear Weekend Forecast. But I don't think there's going to be a lot to talk about, to be honest. But come back for it anyway. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.